Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that takes, well, sometimes unexpected sources and digs deep for surprising insights.
That's right.
Today, it's definitely one of those topics that might make you pause, but it holds some really fascinating medical and honestly quite profound human interest.
It really does.
Our source today is a letter to the editor and also a review of cases. It was published back in Acute Medicine and Surgery 2014.
And our mission for this deep dive is
Yep.
basically to explore the documented reality of what the medical world calls unusual rectal foreign bodies.
Right.
But we're going beyond just the clinical stuff. We want to look at the wider implications for patient care and maybe the surprising frequency of these things.
Frequency. Oh,
Yeah, drawing
Yeah.
from like hundreds of published reports. It shines a pretty unique light on a part of emergency medicine that doesn't get talked about much.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because I honestly wouldn't have guessed this was a common thing at all. The title even says unusual, which seems, well, a bit misleading now.
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it? Where unusual becomes maybe more common than you'd expect.
So what does common mean here? Like, are we talking a handful of cases a doctor might see? Or
It's definitely more than a handful. The source is pretty clear that these rectal foreign bodies, they pop up frequently enough that most general surgeons
yeah.
or ER docs, they'll likely treat patients with this kind of issue at some point, maybe multiple points.
Wow, okay. So not a super rare event for them.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
And the reasons documented are quite varied. You've got things like criminal assault, sometimes attempts at self-treatment.
Self-treatment for
The
what?
source doesn't specify every detail,
Right.
but you can imagine things like hemorrhoids, maybe constipation, and their sexual gratification, which is a big one,
Right.
and even occasionally genuine accidents, though that seems less common.
Huh. Oh, okay.
But what's really striking, and the source points this out, is a trend. An increasing number of these incidents seem related to homosexual practices and anal autoeroticism. And worryingly, these are also increasingly linked to significant morbidity, serious illness or complications,
Yeah.
even mortality, death.
Gosh. So it's a really complex mix of behavior and, well, medical reality.
Exactly.
Okay, to make this less abstract, maybe let's ground it in a specific case, the publication details one,
If
right?
it does, yes. A specific case report helps make it real.
So who was the patient?
He was a 33-year-old male, showed up at the ER.
And what was going on? What were his symptoms?
Well, he'd had several days of pretty bad abdominal pain, anal pain too.
Yeah.
Constipation. His abdomen was distended, bloated,
Right.
and he could barely pass any gas. For 3 days, apparently.
3 days. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So during the digital rectal exam, that's the physical check, the team felt something, a hard edge, metallic.
Metallic?
Yep. With some bloodstained mucus around it just inside the anal sphincter.
And it turned out to be, don't tell me,
A metallic coffee can.
a coffee can.
Yeah.
Seriously. Wow. Okay.
So they did imaging, x-rays and a CT scan.
See exactly where it was.
Right. Precisely. Showed dilated bowel loops, things were backing up, and pinpointed the can right there in the rectum.
And blood tests, did they show anything?
They did. Showed leukocytosis, that's a high white blood cell count, suggesting infection or inflammation.
Makes sense.
And also a really big jump in C-reactive protein, another strong sign of inflammation.
So how did they get it out?
Thankfully, in this case, they managed a manual extraction.
Yeah.
Pulled it out, but they did it under sedation.
Okay. Good. And the outcome?
Full recovery. The source mentions a rectal ulcer, probably from the can, but it healed completely by day 7.
That's good news, considering a coffee can. Still processing that one.
It's definitely memorable.
But what strikes me is, okay, getting the object out is the immediate thing, but the source really stresses that patient care is much more than just the extraction, right?
Absolutely. That's a critical point. It's about holistic care.
It's not just the physical injury. There's got to be a psychological side, too.
Exactly. The source outlines some key principles. First, respect for privacy. Hugely important, given how sensitive this is.
Obviously.
Second, you need a really thorough evaluation. What is the object? Where exactly is it? That dictates the whole approach.
Right. Can you get it out in the ER, or is it surgery time?
Precisely. And using the right techniques for removal, obviously. But then there's a really crucial point they emphasize.
Which is?
Always ask, was this an assault?
Because that changes things legally and medically.
Both. Assault cases are more likely to involve serious injury, perforations, things like that.
Yeah.
And yes, they usually require notifying legal authorities.
That's sense.
But beyond that, and this is where that deeper human element you mentioned comes in, psychological support is vital if it was assault.
You can only imagine.
Yeah. These patients often need extended counseling support to help them, get back to leading normal social and sexual lives.
It's about dignity, really, not just fixing the physical damage.
Couldn't have said it better. Restoring dignity and mental well-being.
Okay, so that one case, the coffee can, gives us a clear picture. But you mentioned the source also reviewed hundreds of cases.
That's right. They zoomed out to look at the bigger picture, pulling together reports published over about 30 years, from 1980 to 2012.
How'd they find them?
Mainly using PubMed, the big medical database searching for a rectal foreign body.
And what did that larger review show, scale-wise?
They found a total of 589 cases documented in that period.
Wow, okay, that's quite a few. And the demographics?
Really striking. 556 were male patients, only 33 female.
Whoa, so that's, what, like 94% male?
94.4%, yeah. The mean age was around 41.
That gender split is huge. Did the source speculate on why?
It notes the statistic, highlights it, but doesn't really dive deep into the societal reasons behind that imbalance. It just presents the data from the published cases.
Still, that consistency across almost 600 cases says something.
It definitely points to a clear demographic pattern for this specific issue. But maybe just as revealing was the sheer variety of objects they found reported.
Oh, yeah. Beyond coffee cans.
Way beyond. I mean, you had relatively common things, maybe like bottles, vibrators.
Okay.
But then fruits, vegetables, actual tools.
Tools, like hardware tools.
Seems like it. And then a whole miscellaneous category.
Yeah.
Light bulbs, candles, balls, flashlights. You name it.
Good grief. That list. It's not just bizarre, is it? It almost paints a picture.
It really does. A picture of, diverse circumstances, different motivations, maybe desperation sometimes. It certainly challenges your assumptions.
Yeah, no kidding. So with all these different objects, how were they managed? Was it mostly straightforward removals?
It varied a lot, as you'd expect. The majority, were handled with simple manual retrieval, sometimes needing general anesthetics, sometimes not.
Okay.
Or using a sigmoidoscope.
Right, that's the camera scope.
Exactly. Flexible tube, light, camera. Lets the doc see it, sometimes grab it carefully without full surgery.
But not always simple.
No, definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
A significant chunk, 80 patients, which is about 13.6%, needed actual surgery.
Okay, so more than 1 in 10 needed an operation.
Correct. And maybe the most sobering stat is about those surgery patients.
What's that?
Of those 80 who needed surgery, 53 of them ended up needing a stoma.
A stoma, like a colostomy bag.
Essentially, yes.
Mm.
A surgically created opening to divert waste. That's over half, 66% of the surgery patients.
Wow. That implies really serious injury in those cases. Perforations, maybe.
It often does, yeah. It highlights the potential for severe long-term consequences here. It's not always just a quick removal.
Any other treatment insights from the review?
They did mention the laparoscopic approach keyhole surgery as being a good option for difficult cases.
Ah, less invasive.
Right. Better visualization, easier removal sometimes, helps spot injuries, and patients tend to recover faster, get discharged earlier.
And what about lab tests, like the blood work for the coffee can guy?
Interestingly, the overall review suggested that routine lab tests often aren't that helpful for these cases in general.
Oh, why not? It seems the physical exam and, crucially, the imaging, the x-rays, the CT scans, are far more useful for diagnosis and planning the removal. The labs might confirm inflammation, but they don't locate the object.
Got it. Okay. What a deep dive this has been.
Definitely.
We started with something that sounds, frankly, almost unbelievable, only to find out it's surprisingly common, involves an incredible range of objects.
From the mundane to the truly bizarre.
And requires really detailed medical and psychological care. It's amazing how looking at just this one source, this letter and review, opened up such a, unique corner of emergency medicine.
It really did. And I think what's truly fascinating, the takeaway maybe, is that stark reminder behind every single medical statistic, especially ones like these.
Yeah.
There's a person, a human being who deserves privacy, dignity, and often has a story far more complex, far more human than just the object they present with.
Absolutely.
This dive really shows how even these seemingly niche medical reports, they give us profound insights into human behavior, into the challenges of healthcare.
Yeah. And it really hammers home the need for non-judgmental, comprehensive care, no matter what brings someone through the ER doors. It just leaves you wondering, doesn't it? About all the unseen stories of the complex lives behind the cases doctors see every single day.